Hey guys, and welcome to Get Life podcast Umai, the food discussion podcast that is part of the Get Life group. Today I'm joined with Georgina.
Georgina. G.
Okay, so we've got Georgina today, as always. And today, last week we talked about, what did we talk about?
We talked about ube cake,
Bingsu, cocoa curry,
cocoa curry, yes,
and shibuya and all of that.
Yep.
Today we didn't go out.
Bringing it back to the roots.
We're going back to the roots.
School dinners.
School dinners, mate. Dinner ladies. School dinners.
Cake and custard. What else?
Cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers are bomb.
But before we get into the main bulk
Chips
of the discussion,
and beans. Yep.
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Crunchyroll and Japan Crate. Thank you very much for sponsoring Get a Life podcast Umai. So let's start off actually with some snacks. Yum, yum.
What have we got today?
We've got 3 snacks.
Okay.
One of them is called Region Cheese Balls,
Okay.
which is basically like cheese poofs. We also have Ginza Rusks, which is from our sponsor Japan Crate, which is the chocolate rusk. And we also have Melon Pan Biscuits, which is also from Japan Crate. Let's open the Melon Pan. I think that's the best.
Oh, we're going to start with that one. Okay.
Yeah, reach for it. Reach for that Melon Pan.
Alright. Let's get them open.
I think there's 3 in a pack. They're basically kind of like Melon Pan. If you've ever gone to Japan Center, they actually bake these fresh. But these are the cookie version, which kind of looks similar to that.
So small and cute.
They look like Melon Pan if you've seen them in anime, etc.
Why does it smell like cocoa?
It does. It smells like chocolate.
Even though it's not chocolate at all.
I don't think they have a flavor of melon to them. I just think they look.
Oh, it's because they have chocolate in them. I thought there was going to be melon in here.
Melon Pan doesn't have melon inside it. They call it Melon Pan because it's shaped like a melon. That's the only reason. This is quite nice.
Oh my god, these are really nice.
The chocolate is dark, but it works really well.
It's like a really nice,
Actually,
melty.
I don't know if my brain's going crazy. There is
I taste melon.
a slight taste of melon.
I swear to God, I taste melon.
Okay, I think we are a bit crazed now. We don't understand truly what's going on. Japan, what are you doing?
I opened up the packet and I smelled chocolate. I smelled cocoa, and I'm wondering where this is coming from. I bit into the biscuit, and there's chocolate spread on the inside. But now I taste melon.
This is Japan sorcery.
I don't understand.
Me neither.
And it even smells like cocoa, but it tastes good. I
It's
think
nice.
the melon works.
Very nice. This would be nice with a milk tea. Like a good milk tea with milk.
No, I think a nice green tea to like really
You
wash
think
it
so?
out. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or chocolate milk.
Too much chocolate, no.
Chocolate milk.
Oh no, that's really good. Like
That
the
was
biscuit
nice.
was nice and crunchy. Chocolate was really nice
Crispy
and
crunch.
bitter, but then really like nice and gooey and melty as well. And then you had that random taste of melon at the end to cleanse your
It's
palate
like
a little
double
bit.
the size of a 10p coin. Just for reference.
Really nice and bite size.
Do you think it would have been nice if it was a lot bigger though? Like a full cookie, no?
No, I think it'll be too much. I think the fact that it's small and compact with all those flavors is quite nice.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if it was any bigger, it would be too much.
I agree as well. Let's just jump into it.
Okay.
School dinners.
Oh, school dinners.
We
Do
live
you
in
love
the
them
UK.
or hate them?
I kind of miss them. It's very weird for me to say this, but it's weird
Well, why do you miss school dinners?
because it's so simple.
But by
And
the
cheap.
way,
Bear in
I'm
mind-
eating another melon biscuit.
Fair enough. Eat another. Go ahead. In our day, obviously, we went to school in like the 90s/2000s.
Yep.
We finished high school in like
2017, 2016. 2017 or 16, I can't remember.
no,
Yeah, did we not?
we didn't.
Did we not?
No,
I'm pretty sure we did, because I'm pretty sure I started
no, we
uni.
didn't.
I started uni in 2016.
No, you didn't.
Are you sure?
You graduated in 2016.
No, I didn't.
It's 2019, Georgina.
You
You graduated in 2016.
no, I graduated in...
You graduated in 2016.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You graduated in 2016 because I graduated
I
in
think
2017.
we finished 2013 then.
Yeah, so we finished 2013 high school and whatever. Actually, no, we started uni in 2013. So we finished 2012. Let's say, okay, Olympics, we finished high school. But for me, I always kind of enjoyed the school dinners. Bear in mind, during our time, it was this transition period where school dinners were very unhealthy. And then Jamie Oliver got involved and he took away
ruined everything.
our Turkey Twizzlers.
and tried to say chicken nuggets, they're full of E numbers. That's what makes it delicious.
Yeah. I think, Jamie Oliver, this is why your businesses are failing. Because you didn't embrace the nugget.
And we ain't even mad. Let your business fail.
Okay, but seriously, I think it was at a time where they did feed us chicken nuggets. There was pizza. There was a lot of different things, Turkey Twizzlers, etc. And then
chips and beans.
And then it kind of transitioned when we were going to sixth form, more healthy things, more healthy options. Salad, jacket potato, actual food. Like, it was very different.
Yeah, but no, we have actual food in our own houses. We don't want that at school.
I know, but I think the reason why is because the school's budget, they couldn't necessarily afford a lot of food, and it was like, they had to go for the cheap shit. They had to go for fish fingers, they had to go for chicken nuggets, they had to go for whatever they can get.
But also, kids are really fussy as well.
They're fussy eaters.
And I guarantee you, these kids that went home, that was their meal.
Yeah.
Maybe not in our household because we're obviously from Middle East.
Yeah, you have a point. And not everyone, bear in mind, everyone has different classes of social class. Not necessarily social class, but in terms of middle class.
No. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but some mums shopped at Iceland and some mums shopped at Waitrose.
That's true.
It's not something to be ashamed about.
And it's also about the fact that not all parents have the time to cook for their children.
Yeah, and convenience is easier sometimes.
Convenience easier, and it's easy to pop something in the oven.
Or sometimes you're from a different cultural background. Like for us, we're like of Arab, Arab and North African. We'd usually come home to things like with a lot of red sauce on there, like stuffed eggplant.
Like actual food.
Yeah. Whereas some people, they're from, different cultural backgrounds. They'll go home to like rice dishes and curries and whatnot. Like it's... Yeah. It depends
some people,
on a lot of factors.
Like I said, might go home and then it's just fish fingers in the oven.
Or some people, bless them, ham sandwich. A lot of people don't like a hot meal.
I think it depends really on all of that. And the whole point of the school meals, and bear in mind, I think some people got their school meals for free as well. The whole point of that was that a lot of these kids would be getting their only meal for the day at school. Because
which is really sad to think of. But
yeah, it is. And we've seen some sort of developments in the US and stuff. I was watching Binging with Babish. I don't know if you know him. He's basically a YouTuber that recreates food from anime, TV, films, etc. Famous dishes. But he did this thing where he surprised this teacher who was actually teaching students how to cook with basic ingredients, etc. Teaching them how to use a knife, teaching them basic skills so that when they go home, they're excited to cook with actual fresh ingredients, as opposed to chicken fingers in the oven. Do you know what I mean? That inspired, this is why we're doing this episode, but we're talking about these school lunches that we used to have, whether or not they were amazing, whether or not they were shit, as a way to kind of shed light on that. So let's just jump into it. So let's start from primary school.
The best lunches.
The best lunches, but they were the most unhealthy, right? They were like, what
Turkey
were they?
Twizzlers.
Turkey Twizzlers. That stopped as soon as Comic Relief happened.
Chips and beans.
Turkey Twizzlers, fish fingers,
chicken nuggets.
Pretty much anything that was frozen that you can put in an oven and cook very quickly. And it was good because kids ate that. Because a lot of the kids in our area
ate that
turkey
dinosaurs and gravy.
That was it.
Lots and lots of gravy and coleslaw.
Well, I'll tell you something what I really liked when I was a kid. They would give you an option at the school lunches to have a dessert.
I never used to go for the cake and custard because that custard was like jellified and like grotesque.
Do you know what that grotesque custard?
I always used to go for cheese and cracker. Oh my god, it's my favorite dessert ever.
I'll explain to you. They gave us the option of cheese and crackers or the dessert that was cake and custard.
Slice of cardboard with some jellified custard on there.
That satanic custard, right? Basically what it was like powdered custard that you would add water, but I don't think they added enough water, so it just congeals on itself. It looked like a literal demon. So regardless,
it looked like you could peel off the custard.
It looked disgusting. Like I said, it looked like it was alive and it wanted to die.
It looked like lumpy gravy, yellow lumpy gravy.
That's not something you're peeling. We're laughing because it was funny. It was disgusting.
It looks like it was oozing.
We used to.
Something
Okay,
let's
stop.
Sorry.
Let's stop. So we went for cheese and crackers. So it was like Dairy or like Laughing Cow cheese.
Oh my god, the best.
And you know what I used to do? I get the Laughing Cow cheese, I get coleslaw, and I get ketchup. And to this day, I love it.
No. And sometimes when you have a little bit of a roast dinner on a good day.
On a good day.
You know, the one where you can't tell if the beef is real beef.
Yeah.
That's roast potatoes, so. But not that. Let's just move on. That leftover gravy. And I used to watch you do this. Your little cheese and cracker, your coleslaw in the middle, bit ketchup, and you scoop up the leftover gravy with that cheese biscuit.
And it was the best shit ever. I still eat it.
It doesn't sound like it.
It sounds disgusting, but it's amazing. Try it at home. Get like a Jacob's cracker, put a little bit of dairy on it, or a little bit of Laughing Cow, put a little bit of coleslaw, a little bit of ketchup, and dip it in gravy. That is... This sounds disgusting. It will give you indigestion, but I was having indigestion as a child and I didn't understand what it was.
Mommy, my throat burns.
Only because that's what I was eating at school. And it wasn't healthy. I bulked up quite quickly, but I mean, it's something that stuck with me. I love it.
Oh my god.
I really want everyone to experience that at least once in their life.
Oh my god. Do you know what's also really, really nasty that was sort of congealing at the bottom as well?
What?
I don't know if it's because I didn't know how to clean the cups properly. Remember those like black currant or orange squash?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know why there was like shit at the bottom of the cup.
I don't think they washed the cup.
Like, I can't tell if it was the sugar that was just stuck to the bottom or I don't know what it
I
was.
think it
But
might-
it was like literal shit.
It might have been. It might have been.
It's horrible.
I think
It just put you off from drinking. This is why I never, if you know me, I never ever drink whilst I eat in any sort of meal. It's because primary school set me straight. I would always drink either before or after a meal, but never ever during a meal.
Oh, definitely.
Those nasty manky cups.
Those plastic sippy cups.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so
That every other dirty child has drank from as well. Oh my god.
That got me. That. Okay, let's turn down a little bit. So we had that, and we would have like a roast dinners every once in a while. Mainly frozen food that was like.
Oh, the turkey
whatever.
dinosaurs with the chips and the beans.
They were great.
Oh my
They were
God,
great.
Legit.
I can't really remember much from primary school.
No. Sometimes they would have like a little sandwich option in case you didn't want a hot meal. And my
with
God.
a juice box.
With a juice box and a packet of crisps. And my God, that was the best bloody tuna and salad baguette that I've ever had in my whole entire
In
life.
primary school. I can't even remember that.
I remember it, yeah.
I can't remember that. But I think one thing that I do remember is that
No, do you remember the roast dinner with the cabbage as well, the boiled cabbage?
Yeah, that was nasty.
Nasty. But alright with some gravy on there.
Everything
Gravy used to fix everything in our school.
Gravy forgives all sins.
It's
That's
so
another
true.
t-shirt that we should make. Gravy forgives all sins.
Pray to gravy.
Praise be gravy.
Oh, gravy, you forgiver of sins.
The savior gravy. Okay, let's stop. Let's stop with gravy.
Savior gravy, though.
No, but seriously. I remember in infant school that we would have like box lunches, right?
Yeah, Mum would never want us to. Well, never wanted us to eat that shit in school. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we would get what were they like? Dairy Dunkables?
Oh no, the Dairy Lunchables.
Yeah, Lunchables. What
No,
the
not
hell
all
was
the
that?
time. That was a treat sometimes from Mum.
They were disgusting. I used to hate
They
them.
were amazing. Oh my God, especially little pizza ones.
The ham, I didn't like. You know what I didn't like about the ham in that? You get those pieces of ham that weren't fully formed.
What do you mean?
Like, they would have like a little bit of gristle or a little bit of fat in it, and you would taste that. I used to hate it. I used to throw the ham away.
No,
I would just eat
I
the
used
cheese
to
with
like
the
the
crackers.
ham.
The ham is disgusting, and it's processed. Please don't feed your children.
No. The best was the little pizza ones with the little pepperonis as well.
They were nice. They were actually from M&S.
The only thing I never used to understand how they had a dame in the lunchbox. Yeah, your little dessert was a little dame chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you're freezing the lunch, not freezing. You put the Lunchables in the fridge. That was always hard. That used to like freaking crack your teeth.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Do you not remember it in the
Yeah.
Capri Sun as well?
Yeah.
I think it was Capri Sun.
I think they included something like that. It was a Capri Sun or it was like a Robinsons
juice box,
or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I like the Lunchables.
I never understood the dame. Why of all chocolates?
It's
think
probably
this
because
way.
it lasts well in the fridge, I would presume.
No, I swear to God, when it's cold, it shatters your teeth.
Maybe
It
they want
freezes.
kids to get stronger teeth. I don't know.
No, it was like horrible.
But moving on from that, I think it was
Do you remember cheese strings?
cheese. This is I remember everything at once, and it's so disgusting. I hate cheese.
I love cheese string when you pull it and you make it have like really long hair and then you twist it and shake
Georgina,
it. It's like he's
not real-
dancing
that's
with
not-
his hair.
That's not real cheese, right?
It doesn't need to be real cheese. It tastes good.
It's like the cheese biscuits we have that taste like feet in the last
No,
episode.
it didn't taste like feet. It smelled like feet, but didn't taste like feet.
Okay,
No,
fair
I
enough.
used to love Baby Bell. Oh my god, I'm addicted to that
I
cheese.
used to eat the wax. Baby Bear.
Oh my god, you were a very slow kid, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to eat the wax. I used to eat
I would play with the wax, but I never used to eat the wax.
I used to eat the wax with the cheese.
I used to eat Starburst with the wrapper. I used to remember
The
that.
funny thing is, right, now they're making sweets with rice paper on it so that kids who don't bother to unwrap the sweet can eat the sweet with the paper
No, it's
on.
not that kids were not bothered to unwrap the sweet.
It's a stop a choking hazard.
It's just some kids don't understand they need to unwrap.
Yeah.
Whereas you knew and you still ate the paper. You used to eat paper as a kid.
I love it. Yum yum. Really, what I want to go on to was secondary school because I don't really remember a lot from primary school and whatever. But secondary school.
Wait. Can I just go back to one point in secondary school? I'll never forget the little rainbow cookie with the M&Ms that they used to serve in infant school.
They used to serve
a
that,
dessert option.
and then now you can get that in Subway.
Oh my god, it's
Pretty
not my
much.
favorite cookie in Subway. But the jelly and ice cream, the most bomber shit ever. Like,
I think-
honestly, in your wedding, the dessert better be jelly and ice cream.
Okay, that's a bit dumb.
Why not?
Because jelly and ice cream, the reason why they had jelly and ice cream in infant school and they didn't have it in primary school was because they were teaching us about jelly on a plate. You know that nursery rhyme?
Jelly on a plate, jelly on a plate, wibble wobble, jelly on a plate.
So that's why it was kind of exciting for children to just play with the jelly and like, do you know what I mean?
I remember it in infant school as well, not in secondary school. I remember it in infant school.
Yeah, infant school, but I mean there's primary school and then there's secondary school.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about secondary school more so because it was more varied. Secondary school, we had three options. We had breakfast, lunch, and first break sort of lunch as well.
Yeah.
There was two.
No, was there? Oh yeah, there was breakfast.
You could get breakfast there. It wasn't the best breakfast.
It was like
It was like
bacon
porridge.
butties. Yeah.
And like bacon butter. It started off with bacon butties and like sausage rolls and stuff. It started off like that, and then as the school sort of went on this crusade against bad food and whatever, they changed it to like porridge and cereal and like fruit salad and stuff. But when we first started in year 7, our school had this system where you could go during your first break time and you can go to the lunch hall or you can go to the tuck shop or whatever and get like a pizza.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the baguette pizzas.
Oh, the best.
It was basically, and I know they made this in house. It wasn't something that they were
Got delivered.
It wasn't something frozen. They were making this fresh. Basically, they had French bread. They cut it in half like a baguette. They put cheese
And tomato
puree. Sauce, and that was all it was. Cheese and tomato sauce.
So basic.
There wasn't
my
even
god.
There wasn't even pepperonis. It was just cheese and tomato sauce.
So basic, but my god,
It was amazing.
The best pizza ever.
It was, and it had that lovely crunch to it.
Think of the pizza baguette you can get in Subway. That's what it was.
Pretty much. That's what it was, but it was more crunchy than that because the Subway bread is a bit soft.
Yep.
And
fake. Yep.
Plastic. But this was beautiful. And they stopped doing that because they were worried that the children were getting obese and fat and whatever.
The kids are fat anyway.
That's true.
Don't
Now,
stop the food. Increase
Exercise.
Yeah, well, yeah. But the point is, even if you're eating normal food with a lot of rich in vitamins, rich in natural fats and whatnot, if you're not exercising, then you're still screwed anyway.
That's true, but there's obviously the issue of trans fats and all that. But that's
No, I
not
get
that's not
that,
the point. That's not the point. So they had that. They also had these baguette sandwiches that you can buy in our secondary school, but they stopped doing this. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, the baguette sandwiches were so good.
And this is something they also made in house. Chicken tikka baguette.
This is what really annoys me. They're trying to put a wrap on bad food, but you don't know. At least you know what what's going into the ones you're making in house.
Yeah, of course.
You know what you're doing, but you don't know what's coming in from the packaged sandwiches.
Yeah, that's it. The packaged sandwiches, now that I think about it, those chicken and bacon sandwiches that were all the rage that every kid wanted to eat, had a lot of salt.
The sandwiches were so salty.
Very salty, because the more salt that you put in, the kind of cheaper it gets, because it's like a filler type thing, right?
Yeah.
To add flavor, and then they would have like I don't know if they had like MSG.
I'm pretty sure it did.
I don't know, but it was salty sandwiches, but kids loved it. I don't know. And then you'd have kids going to the tuck shop and getting like waffles during break and
I saw that.
ice creams, and I was like, what the hell? So that was weird. But then even lunchtime was odd as well, because it was like you couldn't, I don't know, lunchtime wasn't really something to get because it was like basic. It was like shepherd's pie and
jacket potato
and a lot of kids didn't eat the stuff that was offered at lunch. They ate the stuff that was offered at break time. That chicken tikka baguette that was like the size of a fucking arm, right? And all the kids went for it because it was cheap. And all it was just leftover chicken with tikka masala sauce in a baguette.
Still the bombest thing ever.
It was beautiful,
So
don't get me wrong.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, and I still want that. And I'm urging to go back to school. Just eat that. I just want to have a kid and then take them to school, to that same school, and hope to God that they have that chicken baguette. And I'll be like, son, get me a chicken baguette. I'll pay you. Just smuggle me a chicken baguette.
You're teaching your kids how to drug smuggle from
That's
a very young age.
From a very young age. But seriously, I miss that flavor. There's something about it.
You mean the flavor of salt?
The flavor of salt and just chicken tikka masala. It was beautiful.
I honestly preferred school lunches in infant school and primary school more than junior school.
I think what would be very cool in school would be like a proper cafeteria, because it wasn't much choice. And obviously that's going to be very limited to what you can get in school, etc. Don't get me wrong, because of budgets and whatnot. But I think they need to hire proper staff that actually help the kids make food. Do you see what I mean? Like, teach them about what food's going on, what's in your meals.
The only way you can make, bring down the obesity problem in the UK, especially because the Brits are known to be the fattest kids in
Americans.
Well, the Brits are
on
in
their
Europe.
way. In Europe. On their way. Yeah, true. In Europe. That's the truth.
Yeah, I think if you make things like food technology compulsory in school, just like have a lesson. It doesn't need to be a lesson each day, just a lesson each week to teach them about nutrients, about calories, about vitamins, how to fuel your body, and about energy itself, and saturated fats and all this.
I think what would be very beneficial is that there was this anime, I mentioned it last episode, called Sweetness and Lightning. And the whole point is the dad is a teacher, and he's a teacher of high school, and his wife died basically, and the child misses the food that mum used to make. So he's on the journey about learning how to make food, and there's one of his students, her mum owns a restaurant. So basically the student is teaching the teacher and his kid how to make different dishes each episode.
Oh, I might watch that.
It's a great anime. Go and watch it. We're going to be covering it on Kunai, or by the time this comes out, we might have already covered it on Kunai, so go and check it out. But the idea behind it is that parents need to learn, because a lot of these parents in this new generation aren't learning, and so they're not passing it on. But when they make it into an activity at a young age, and they say, okay, mommy and daddy are going to cook together today, or daddy and daddy are going to cook today, or whatever, right? So when you get the parents cooking with the children, getting actively involved and be like, okay, what colors are these and whatever, and we're gonna put green peppers and red peppers and yellow pepper, whatever. Well, they're not just making a pepper stew or whatever, but I mean.
But I honestly feel like also food is a lot more enjoyable when it's colourful as well.
Yeah, of course, and it's more attractive to children when it is colourful, because they see the colours and they say, oh, that's green, and then you're like, sorry son, you're colourblind, that's actually yellow.
Red.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's when you find out your child's colorblind.
Oh, that's horrible.
But no, seriously, when you engage with them, they get more excited for it, and they want to eat stuff that isn't shit.
Yeah, like Turkey Twizzlers.
When you show children that food can be fun and food can be good and exciting, they don't want to eat the fish fingers anymore. They don't want to eat the chicken nuggets anymore. They want to eat exciting food. They want to eat something new. Children, more often than not, want these new experiences because it helps them grow, helps them know the world, etc. I think you mentioned the food technology, but I think they should do not even compulsory classes, but they should do after school classes. And I know this might not work for all parents, but every once in a while they should invite parents to come and cook with their children.
Like a parents' evening.
Like a parents' evening, but more based around cooking. Telling them, hey, look, this is what we're going to teach you today. We're going to teach you how to make a lasagna. We're going to teach you how to make a gratin. We're going to teach you how to make a
stew.
A stew. We're going to teach you how to make dauphinoise potatoes. We're going to teach you how to make Chateaubriand.
Whoa.
We're going to go Michelin star.
Whoa. I'd like to join that school. Are they actually providing the ingredients? That's another question.
Yeah, are the schools providing the ingredients?
That's where it gets difficult.
That is where it gets difficult.
Whereas if you teach them about nutrients and stuff and have because sometimes even in food technology, if you're asked to do a practical, you have to bring in your own ingredients, but that's because it's not done often. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that's why food technology works.
Or what I think they should do, which is another thing, that the families bring their own ingredients and then they decide what to make as they're teaching.
And sometimes you could, like, if you're from a really rich culture, in the sense of, like, you know, you've got specific foods attached to that group, you know, like, let's just say you're from the Middle Eastern culture, you don't necessarily, you know, you can teach your kid how to make traditional foods as well.
Yeah.
Whilst you're there.
You don't need to teach them how to make bangers mash.
Yeah, if you don't want to. If you want to teach them how to make them a lasagna, you can teach them this is how you cook chicken biryani or something.
Yeah, or you teach them how to cook like a moussaka.
Yeah.
Anything really. But they should really give them a platform to be like, hey, look, I understand. Because when the parents understand that they're bonding with their children.
Yeah.
There was one scene in Sweetness and Lightning that actually made me cry. Every episode made me cry because the dad was realizing that he's doing good for his daughter when he's making her good food, because the smile on her face that's on there, and the fact that she's experiencing and she's learning, and he's loving that. So when I saw that would make me cry. And I think when parents see that in their own children, they'll think twice about what they're feeding them.
Yeah.
And
because if you knew the things that went into these products, you wouldn't want to feed your kid that anyway. The amount of salt, you're basically poisoning your kids more and more you feed them. For the most part. It's
changed a lot now, but it's still up to the parents. It's their responsibility. It's also responsibility of the school to kind of make a change.
It should also be the responsibility of the government to ensure that parents have enough money to feed the kids the right foods, because sometimes it's down to the money. Not necessarily everyone has enough money to go and afford luxuries like fruits and vegetables.
Well, there are. And
fair enough, there's things coming up like Aldi and Lidl.
I don't want to get into more political things, but there are systems in place to kind of help people afford food, right?
Yeah.
Whether we see it in America with the food stamp system, or we see it in the UK with welfare systems and benefits, etc. You can't always guarantee that they will spend that money on food.
Fair enough.
And that's the unfortunate bit. That being said, I think it's time to go for our sponsors. We'll be right back after this short ad break. Get Alive Podcast Umai is brought to you by Japan Crate. Let's talk about Japan Crate for a little bit. Japan Crate is a lovely service where you pay $30 a month and you get all of this wondrous, amazing, delicious snacks from Japan. So you'll be getting crisps or chips, as you call them in America, sweets, candy, DIY candies each month if you go for the premium crate, as well as on occasion special gifts like games we've seen in the past, pins, collectible items, lanyards, etc. If you want to join on the fun, please go to www.getalivepodcast.com/Japan Crate. Remember, that's getalivepodcast.com/Japan Crate. A lovely thing I like about Japan Crate is the fact that most of the time, if you were to buy this in your local Japanese supermarket or Asian supermarket, you would find it to be way, way, way more expensive. So you're actually saving money. So remember, check out Japan Crate. You might see some new things that you never tried before, or some things that you really love and you really want to see what's going on with the next crate. That's what I love about them. I'm always very excited to receive their crates each month. GetLivePodcast.com/Japan Crate. And thank you, Japan Crate, for sponsoring Get Live Podcast Umai. Welcome back to Umai. I think before we move on to our next sort of topic about food and schools and whatever, let's try the next snack.
Cheese balls or the rusks?
I think we should go rusks.
I think, yeah.
I think we'll go rusks. So, yeah. And then open the rusks. So these are called Ginza rusks.
What flavour even are these?
They are chocolate rusks.
Ooh. Got those chocolate melon biscuits. Oh my god, so good.
And basically what rusks are, they're like hard bread or hard biscuits. Or
I can't even get it open.
Japanese packaging, so hard. This actually was included in our fruits basket Japan Crate, so thank you very much Japan Crate for providing us with these rusks.
They're really tiny.
They are small, aren't they?
Oh my god. They smell really chocolate. Do you know what this reminds me of?
Cocoa Rocks.
How did you know?
Cocoa Rocks.
Oh my god, how did you know?
They were disgusting, Cocoa Rocks. I don't want to sound grotesque, but that would give you some mad wins. Cocoa Rocks. And they smell like them.
I
as well.
like the texture of these, but I'm not too sure about the flavour.
They're basically chocolate rusk dipped in chocolate.
I'm scared that we're gonna have the same aftermath.
The Cocoa Rocks.
With the Cocoa Rock.
Oh man, that is another thing.
I think we should try our next snack because
No, I
I'm
don't
quite
think so.
scared of these.
No.
I'm quite scared of these rusks.
The next snack will happen after the last ad break. So these are nice though. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, pass me another one. It tastes like chocolate covered cornflakes.
It is kind of like Rice
the
Krispie
texture,
treats.
yeah, it doesn't look like that. It looks like.
Have you ever went to Wenzel's Bakery?
No, I've never been.
I
Wait.
love Wenzel's.
It doesn't actually look like dog shit. It looks like dog food.
Yeah, like Kibbles. Kibbles mix.
Yeah, like is it Baker's?
Baxter's.
No, is it the
I
dog
can't-
food? I'm
the
trying to think.
pedigree.
Yeah, the dried dog food.
Yeah.
Not the wet one.
Have you ever thought about adding milk to that? Dry dog food. What
Oh my
happened?
god, do you know what I found out the other day?
What?
Someone said at work that their friend who had the chili sensations, the crisps,
Yeah.
likes to eat them like cereal and would put them in a bowl
With milk.
and pour milk over it. And eat it.
That's disgusting. Well, in a way, that kind of diffuses the chili flavor, I guess.
But crisps and milk, think of it.
I want to know this person and just punch them in the face because
Punch them in the
that's a
nose.
sin. That's a food sin.
That is disgraceful.
Father, forgive me for I have sinned.
That's ungraceful, ungrateful.
Ungrateful. Even gravy can't forgive that sin. Even gravy can't forgive that sin. Speaking of the school was interesting in terms of the other food that we got. And I wanted to get back onto the point. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't so attractive in terms of food and whatever. A lot of the students, if you gave them free periods, they would go to, let's go to Sam's. Or let's go to Pepe's. I remember in sixth form,
KFC
everyone
and
was like,
McDonald's.
Pepe's, yeah, Pepe's. I don't remember.
Or the chip shop with curry sauce on their
Chip
chips.
shop. That was the worst thing. Our school had a chip shop and a concourse outside, so people during break times would go and get that.
But it was only open like sixth form people were the only people who were allowed to leave the premises during school
Pretty
hours.
much, but they would sell that to younger children. There's
Because
one.
younger kids would be like putting in their orders, be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, can you give me some chips? Oh, can you give me this?"
Yeah, and they would bring them back to them, and that's really a bit upsetting that the school did that. But I'm not here to call out the school. I think it's also the fact that a lot of students, because they kind of force them to give them healthy foods, and it's often bland and whatever because they go to a specific company and they provide that food. It's not actually the people in the school making it most of the time. So it is often bland, right? The dinner ladies, they're not making the food. They're just serving it. Or they're just cooking it. It's pre-made, pre-packaged shit. So a lot of the times the students don't like that. And so they will go to the boy that's selling pepperonis or to the guy that's selling crisps and
Or
popcorn
Lucasade.
and Lucasade. That was
Do you know
happening
what?
all the
Some
time.
of these people got so creative that they started to make their own sandwiches at home, fresh ingredients, and was selling that.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no, I'm not naming the person, but this person was so smart and took it. And I'm actually quite proud of this person because they're actually really well for themselves nowadays. Like they've got like a job in like consulting or whatever.
Really?
Like basically, she or he didn't really come from like the richest
She,
of backgrounds.
basically.
No,
She.
I'm not saying it.
Okay, so she
I don't
came
even
from-
know what she does now as a job, but she's
Ah!
working really hard.
So you
or
said she. Okay.
she or he. But back in the day, apart from selling like crisps and cakes and whatnot, I think there was at one point they were selling like sandwiches and stuff like that. They were home making the food and selling that.
And the problem is the school finds out and then they get them in trouble for selling students food that is actually proper because they're losing money.
Well, maybe if they invested a bit more into it, it wouldn't be an issue. Not that I condone selling product on the school playground. I really don't. It's not a good habit. It's not a good thing to do. But you know, I don't think what the kids were doing were wrong.
No.
I
Especially
don't.
if they're selling food that is
Good
Good
quality.
food.
Yeah.
and it's there specifically as an alternative to the shit that they were serving.
And you have to admit, it's quite smart that kids are thinking this way to make a profit. It's actually
But
quite
that's
smart.
besides the point. I think, okay, if you had let's say you ran a school.
Yep.
Let's say you ran Georgina's High School for the Gifted and Talented. It's like the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's what got in my mind.
Gravy.
G stands for gravy.
Cheese stands for
G
gravy.
is for gravy.
Cheese and crackers too.
Okay, so okay, so you let's say you open the gravy school.
Yep.
All right. So what would you have as a perfect sort of lunch menu?
Gravy.
That's a drink. That's on tap. You know there's Coca-Cola. You know there's Coca-Cola freestyle machine.
A shit ton of gravy. A whole river of gravy.
You know there's
the River Thames filled with gravy.
Stop. You know there's Coca-Cola freestyle machines.
Oh my god!
But imagine that just pulls out gravy.
Oh my god! Another thing that used to piss me off from our school is they would have all these vending machines full of bottled water, but you'd have to pay for it.
That was annoying.
Like, what if the kids are dehydrated? You're not gonna give them a bit of water? Are you serious?
That was tap water.
Yeah, it was the most nastiest water anyway.
It was,
I would never ever spend £1
on that. It was like Schweppes water.
It was River Thames water.
Yeah, which was turned out to be Thames water. Regardless, so
okay.
in the gravy school,
yes.
What would you have? What would let's you do Monday's menu and then I'll do Tuesday's menu. So what's breakfast in the?
No breakfast, only lunch.
Okay, no, we'll do breakfast.
No, only lunch.
Okay, you're cheaping out here.
Yeah.
This is unlimited money, and yet you're cheaping out on breakfast.
It's unlimited money.
Unlimited money. Let's say this is a special school that's like Saint Gravy's.
Gravy's.
Saint Gravy's Academy.
Okay.
Saint Gravy.
Oh my god, Saint Gravy's anyway.
So Saint Gravy's. Okay.
Patron saint of cheese and crackers.
Okay, stop. Okay,
at this school, Saint Gravy.
I'm gonna piss myself.
At this school, what would we serve for breakfast?
Saint Gravy's, and seriously, let's not talk about gravy. But at Saint Gravy's, what would you have for breakfast?
I would make it like a breakfast bar.
Okay.
Like a breakfast. So you say now I have unlimited money, so I'll make it like a breakfast little buffet. In one section, if you wanted, you can have your little granola and whatnot, and your yogurts and your fresh fruit, and you can make like a little granola or one of those pots. Do you see what I mean? On the next station, you can also have, muesli as well, whatever you want. Next station, you've got all your cereals, none of them which are, they're all gonna be like healthy cereals, with a lot of wheat in them. Whole grains is what I mean, sorry. The next station will be for your toasts and for your jams and whatnot. If you want to have toast and jam,
hotel breakfast, continental.
Yeah, yes, more or less, yeah. And if you really want your unhealthy option, you've got fry up on the other side.
No,
but it's gonna be.
This is not the point of it. That the whole point is not to be doing that. We're talking about healthy.
No, but I'm sorry. Sometimes you need to give the kids the option.
No, but they'll always go for the unhealthy.
Not all the time.
That's not the point.
No, not all the time.
I'm banning this.
No. I think it's fine to have a little, it's like a sausage and a bacon sometimes in the morning and a bit of egg. I'm not going to give them Turkey Twizzlers or anything like that. It's fine to have a hearty breakfast sometimes. And
but that's a lot of cholesterol.
No, because they're going to be limited portion-wise. This is not like a buffet where they can
so that's a set menu.
That section is limited. The other section is a create your own station.
Sure.
That is from the kitchen. What's from the kitchen directly is what's put on your plate.
So a sausage, a bacon, and an egg.
Or like a mushroom top as well.
Okay. And a tomato.
Yeah, and you can choose your kinds of eggs. If you want scrambled, it's fine. If you want omelette, that's fine.
I didn't know St. Gravy's was in Dubai. Jeez.
If you want poached egg, that's fine as well.
Okay. So what would you have for lunch at St. Gravy's?
St. Gravy's. Obviously, you got your sandwich selection.
Yeah, what would the sandwiches be at St. Gravy's?
It would just be your normal packaged sandwiches, like your chicken salad, your tuna, your ham salad, your cheese and pickle, and maybe a BLT. That's the only options there, pretty much.
Okay.
Nothing really wow or exciting, but it's fine. You have the option there with your pop chips and your fresh juice.
Fresh juice?
Yeah, like
fresh
on
juice.
tap, yeah.
Once again, this is St. Gravy's in Dubai, because clearly this sounds like a Dubai.
Well, you said I had unlimited money.
Okay, but I mean, you're not. This is
yeah, but you
luxury.
said I had unlimited money,
okay,
and I'm a private academy, St. Gravy's.
Okay.
It's more or less like a boarding school. The kids are always going to be there.
St. Gravy's the boarding school, yeah.
Once again, you would have like a set menu. Some days you can have fish with rice, whatever. Next days you can have, chicken penne pasta. Like it's going to be wholesome food that is not foreign to kids.
Yeah.
But it would be portion controlled, and it would just be real food.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? It would be real food. Yeah.
What I would have
and you can have your selection of like toasted paninis and like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, something
and
like
little bit more fancy. Soups of the day.
You know what I would do, and I'm gonna take this because you had unlimited money. I'm gonna do it so that this is give me another name for a school.
So we had St. Gravies.
We had St. Gravies.
St. Gravies.
I'm waiting for a good one.
What are you gonna name it then?
I'm gonna call it the Onion Academy.
Oh my god.
So
onion gravy.
And yeah, onion and gravy. So Onion Academy, right?
Say onions.
No.
Oh.
Onion Academy. So this is a public school, onion school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about prison food.
Why?
But not prison food as we know it. Japanese prison food. There was a YouTube video that I saw where it was indicating the food that was given in the Japanese prison.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very insightful video. And the food that they give them, it's all stuff that will help them throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Everything's healthy. And they get different menus. So they can choose. The prisoners have a choice of what they want to eat within that set menu. So it's not like you get 15 different things. But breakfast is basically rice, a little bit of miso soup, and some grilled mackerel.
Sounds normal.
Which sounds normal. And it's a relatively decent sized portion. And then obviously for lunch, you would get like, once again, rice. And a little bit of meat, maybe a little bit of carbohydrate, a little bit of vegetables. So let's say in a dish, I would maybe say like a curry.
Okay.
Like a katsu curry, like we mentioned before. And then obviously you'd have option for dessert, which would be like a senbei rice biscuit. So really what I'm saying is, because rice is cheap, rice. Just a lot of rice for the carbohydrates. That's going to help them throughout the day. You get your protein in terms of your beef, your fish, your chicken, maybe some tuna here and there. But I don't want the idea of sandwiches. It will be hot food. And I know people prefer sandwiches and whatever, but...
Oh, in my academy, there's also going to be a salad bar, which is great.
Okay, St. Gravies. Okay, St. Gravies.
Lots of gravy too.
So, lots of gravy and St. Gravies.
To dip your cheese and crackers.
Okay, so the idea behind it is that the students, if they don't like the hot food, they will come in with their own food. Do you see what I mean? Then they're sort of forced to make their own food and make their own sort of dishes, right? And provide their own thing.
Would you have any bans on what they can bring in?
That's true.
In our school, there was... Oh, I remember in infant school and primary school, there was bans. You couldn't bring in any like chocolates.
True.
But you can always bring in fruit for your break.
That's true. I think that should be in place in the Onion Academy for gifted students.
In competition with St. Gravies.
In competition with St. Gravies.
I'm gonna snitch you up to Ofsted, but okay.
I think for the Onion Academy. Down. Okay, stop it. For Onion Academy, I think what we need is maybe a ban on items that are high in sugars.
Okay.
But like glucose, right? So no chocolate bars. Fruits are allowed. Raisins, dates.
I think the school should offer that to kids.
Yeah, they should. Honestly, they should. But
kind of like in nursery, how they come around with like little fruit slices. I think schools
or
should,
milk.
Yeah.
Which is something
I think the schools, at least even at a younger age, because we never had that in primary school.
The funny thing is, if Tesco and Asda can offer free fruit for children that are shopping, schools should be doing that as well.
Tesco and Asda does that.
Yeah. Every supermarket now has this small bit when you walk into the store where it's like free fruit for children.
What?
Yeah. Tesco, Asda, M&S does it.
I never saw it.
They do that. When next time you go into an M&S or an Asda or a Tesco or a Morrison's, you will see that. Just notice it. It's always in the front of the store. So if they can do that, you know.
Why can't schools do it?
Why can't schools do it? Because surely they have some fruit that might be going off in a couple of days, and they would have to throw it away. They could just give it to the children. Before we move on, I just want to end off with another ad break. Get Live Podcast Umai is brought to you by the lovely folks at Crunchyroll. We all know Crunchyroll. It's the #1 place to watch all of your anime, whether it's simulcast, subs, dubs. You can find most of it on Crunchyroll, which I love about it. And you can watch it ad-free, 1080p, whether it's on your mobile, on your PS4, on your Xbox, on your tablets, on your televisions as well, including Chromecast. I use it a lot personally on the Chromecast because it's easy for me when I'm doing my cooking or when I'm eating and I'm watching TV. I just Simulcaster Chrome, watch my favorite anime. You can watch simulcasted shows that are going on currently. You can watch a long-running series like Naruto, Fairy Tail, Dragon Ball Super. Personally, I like to watch anime like Sweetness and Lightning because it gets me in the mood to eat, or Food Wars, or Nisekoi, or pretty much any other anime that's on Crunchyroll. Go check it out. If you love anime, go to crunchyroll.com/kunai. Remember, it supports us, and you get a 14-day free trial of Crunchyroll Premium Plus service. So that's no ads, 1080p HD. Also, you get anime pretty much 1 hour after it's released in Japan. That's for the simulcast. So you get it pretty much straight away. It's a no-brainer. Go to crunchyroll.com/kunai for your 14-day free trial of Crunchyroll Premium. Remember, that is crunchyroll.com/KUNAI. Thank you very much, Crunchyroll, for sponsoring not only Get a Life podcast Umai, but the rest of the podcasts that we do, and we really do appreciate it. And we are back. Before we move on to the final topic, let's just get our final snack.
What have we got here?
We got this Filipino snack.
Oh, cheese poofs.
Our cheesy poofs, they're called
cheese
Regent
balls.
Cheese Ball. It's not cheese balls, it's cheese ball.
Oh, so it's one ball.
One ball.
One singular ball.
One singular ball.
One ball, not two balls. One ball.
Beg me a ball.
I'm not sure about these.
I told you not to get them, but you decided to anyway.
I think the onion rings from last episode.
They stink of feet. Everything that's cheese is going to stink of feet.
They taste really sweet. I think the aftertaste is better. I think the onion rings from the last episode were
These
a
are
lot better.
disgusting. They don't have cheese in them. It has a more corn flavor to it. Because these are corn puffs, but
They're really sweet.
they're not like What's-Its. They're not like What's-Its.
Oh, why do they all stink?
They stink, but they have no flavor to it. It's kind of like those Korean biscuits that we had last time. These are nasty. These were the worst purchases that we made. This is a 0 out of 10, in my opinion.
The aftertaste is alright.
No. These are not redeemable. F-. This gets a failing grade, has to retake the year.
I think some gravy would help this.
Gravy forgives all sins, remember. But yeah, we talked about Saint Gravies and the Onion Academy. I think I want to just end on the fact that we urge schools and we urge sort of families really to take more attention into what they're feeding the children and really get the children engaged. I think that's a really lovely thing. I think in this day and age, there's a lot of kids that are into anime.
Yeah.
And that is a way of getting them in. Anime's got some lovely food in it. You've got the Studio Ghibli food.
Yeah.
There's Food Wars.
Naruto.
Naruto.
Food in Naruto. Oh my
insane.
god.
It's like these kids are looking at food that looks probably better than the food that they get. I think maybe try a little bit of different foods from around the world.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, even if you don't know how to make it, even if it tastes like shit, try it. You know, don't go for sushi straight away, right? But if you're like I said, make a lasagna or make like something foolproof,
Stuffed
like,
vines from or Greek salad.
Yeah, Greek salad or a Caesar salad or like
Chicken teriyaki.
Salmon teriyaki. These things aren't difficult to do, especially you can get the sauces and you can add the sauces down. It's not hard.
Chicken biryani.
I think really it's up to the parents to take initiative and say, hey, you also have to put pressure on the schools. I think the parents need to not only see what their children are eating, but they have to put...
Can I pause you there? These cheese balls are disgusting, but I can't stop eating them.
So really, the parents need to look at what the children are eating at school and put pressure on the schools themselves to make a change. Because at the end of the day, the schools make money from the children's attendance. So if the children are not going to the school anymore, if the parents are saying, well, you're not making a difference to what my kid's eating, then they're going to have to make a change because they're at a loss of money. That's how I see it. So pressure them. Because it is a big issue, and I don't expect this podcast to really change anything that much, right? We're not going to change the world in a day. But look at the stuff that's been going on in America. Look at the stuff that they're trying to change now. Look at the prison system in Japan, like I mentioned. The stuff that they eat is insane, and it's done at a reasonable price. So don't give me that excuse and say, oh, it's too expensive, and we'll just stick with our Turkey Twizzlers. And before we end, favorite school dinner from all of the things.
Oh, that's a good one. This is going to sound really bad.
What?
Turkey dinosaurs, bitter beans, chips, sweet corn, because I always had an option of sweet corn.
Yeah.
And then as a dessert, jelly and ice cream.
So basically you're going for the primary school.
The infant school experience.
My favorite school dinner was the school Christmas dinners.
Oh yeah, they were good. Oh no, that doesn't count. No.
That counts.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It does not.
It does.
No.
Still school dinner. That was my favorite. Why? Because it was actually proper food.
I mean, it wasn't, but it was.
It was proper food, but the turkey was sliced very thin. It was proper food. Turkey that was sliced very thin, obviously because they have to feed everyone with like 1 or 2 turkeys. Roast potatoes, a little bit of Saint gravy, and
gravy's
Yorkshire puddings.
Gravy's so good.
That was a decent meal. And I enjoyed that every year without fail. I look forward to Christmas dinner at school. I used to hate the stuffing that was there, but you know.
The stuffing is the best.
Not at school.
No, at home.
At home. Not at school. Definitely not at school.
I don't know what that was in school.
It was like breadcrumbs. That's what it was. Definitely it was not stuffing. Saint stuffing.
Saint gravies.
Saint gravies. And I think we're going to end this episode here. Thank you to our sponsors, Crunchyroll, Loot Anime, and Japan Crate. Remember, if you guys want us to make t-shirts or any sort of merch for the funny jokes that we've made, like Saint Gravies or what's the other one?
Can't even remember.
We're not even talking about the onions, but Saint Gravies. If you want a Saint Gravies school uniform, we will do that.
School uniform?
Like, you know, like those sort of t-shirts that look like uniform?
I don't know how it's gonna work.
Like, we should make a crest that...
Gravy forgives all sins.
Gravy forgive all sins, or Saint Gravies. Like, you know how the schools have like the school crest,
like Veritas or something like that.
Yeah,
like a school motto as well.
So so it'll be the
it will be like a little gravy boat inside a cross.
inside a cross
with like a prefect shaped badge,
and it will be
underneath the motto will say gravy forgives all sins.
Gravy forgives all sins.
Saint Gravies.
Saint Gravies.
I actually might design that.
I'm gonna do that as soon as I finish this.
It.
Saint
it has
Gravies.
to be like, or if not, like a hand. Like someone open up their palm of their hands with a gravy boat pouring gravy into someone's hands.
Saint Gravy.
Saint Gravy.
Gravy forgives all sins. And with that said, thank you for listening. We've also obviously loved this episode. If you did, please tell us on our Twitter page at Get Live Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.